First of all, welcome to London Book Fair. This is just have a good time, but there is also a real message here because this is helping people to get published. We have our shortlisted authors here, so I'm just going to explain the plan. So what I'm going to do now, we'll get started by getting our panel to introduce themselves, and I'm going to start immediately. I can use this one for here. Thank you. We now have Vittorio Vandelli. Did I say it with the right accent?
Very good. As I'm waiting for him, you know, I'm Italian, you can tell by my accent, and I'm strangely here. I happen to be here. I'm glad to have been invited here. And I'm going to tell you something of a crime story of a guy you should know. His name is Berlusconi. English. I have no time to tell how the story develops about this book. But anyway, I usually write satirical fiction on the world of education, and I also write noir novel dystopias. And the link with this book, which is a non-fiction book, is very obvious because Berlusconi's Italy is a dystopia. Now, the book, this is a sample, I just wanted to show the title. It's called 1924-2013, Berlusconi's New Ventennio. You all know that Ventennio in English and in Italian, of course, refers to the fascist period. And this book is a portrait of Italy and a portrait of its godfather. The name is not a coincidence, I suppose. Now, going back to the book straight, because 2 minutes for an Italian is impossible. It's not even a cup of coffee.
We completely understand that. We understand.
We are always 10 minutes late. You give me 2 minutes, it's ridiculous. Anyway, throw this away. I've written down some note while I was drinking coffee in another very Italian habit. This book is about a period of a recent period which should be a warning to Western democracies, because it seems to me that the Berlusconi period, the dystopia of the Berlusconi period in Italy, is a warning to a tendency that we see in Western democracies as well. So it seems to me that after all, this is a warning to what is happening in our world, in our society. Now, Berlusconi, as we all know, is the very symbol of a concentration of political, economic and media power in one single person, never seen before. And this is something that is not acceptable in any normal democracy. This concentration of power has brought on the greatest conflicts of interest that has ever been seen in this world, and has created, I call them weapons of mass deception, that are really a form of mind control. What is the final point? That our democracy is shrinking, there is an erosion, and we are running towards a kind of non-violent possible would-be totalitarian regime. Now, this fact is not new. These are not my words. These are words of British writers that wrote in the 20th century, obviously from Orwell, from Big Brother figure, but mainly for Aldous Huxley, who in 1958 wrote a booklet, an essay, predicting exactly what was going to happen what is happening now and what would happen in the future. His words are unbelievable. A chapter is dedicated. Now, in portraying this book, I am just giving a picture of the country, not only a biography of Berlusconi. A picture of the country, it means Italy with its excellent things, beauty, art, creativity, food, cuisine, artists, and so on, and the inferno which is under it. A society which is corrupt to the core, which is linked with the mafia, and which does not work. Now, Berlusconi himself, how much time do I have?
You're doing very well, about an hour and a half.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
About 15 more seconds.
I'm going to read the first chapter for you. Well, now, I have a little quote, as if I can find it, disorganized as an Italian is. Just a quote. This book is an attempt to let the foreign ear understand how it has been possible for a mafia-linked business magnate and media tycoon, constantly in trouble with justice and drenched in vice, to become Prime Minister, the most popular political leader and the absolute master of the country for the last 20 years. Now, this the picture is grim, but I have tried to find a light tone, to find the humor where there's none to be found, to describe the picture from my point of view, from my experience. So it seems to me that this is a book that turned pages. No,
Publishing in a moment at the end. But I think the most perfect person, if I may, Alison, this is non-fiction, and apparently Alison does non-fiction, in case you haven't been concentrating. Alison.
I'm not that sure it's non-fiction.
Hooray, non-fiction! So this is it's a fascinating story. It's a really important time in history. So it's a good topical subject. One of the things that shrieked at me when I was reading it was, I'd want a good solid legal read of this before I publish it.
I did it.
So opinionated, which is great to read, and I think it'd be a fantastic feature. But again, as a book, I just want to be really clear about who you want to read this and what the purpose of the book is.
It's about the tone. I agree with that. I think it is a bit of a curate's egg. I think it's incredibly brave. So I think the book is valuable, and Berlusconi is a huge enigma. I like Tobias Jones's book. You know, I read Bill Emmett's book. I like the Alexander Stiller pieces that he's written about Italy. So I'm kind of relatively up to speed with the Anglophone journalism in this space. I think the tone is uneven. I think it's incredibly brave to have written it in English. I would, if I was other people.
Okay.
That is a challenge. I found myself hugely engaged because one couldn't fail to be with the subject and also with your charm.
Suitable, and I will be able to sell it to a publisher here. That's the reason. That's got merit, and it's an incredibly interesting topic. But wish him luck. I'm glad you brought it out, and I hope it sells. Yeah.
Vittorio, I have to say, you've been enormous value. We've thoroughly enjoyed your presentation, and I think a very large round of applause, if you would, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vittorio.
Thank you very much.